Good evening, my fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is I. Go ahead and transmit out onto Can's channels again. I keep forgetting to do this. There we go. Now we're out on Can's channels. I am trying to figure out a kind of weird problem. Well, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised by this problem, but you know. And that is, it keeps uploading this, says it's uploaded just fine, says everything is uploaded and taken care of, but whenever I go to my laptop and try to download, it doesn't exist. I'm seeing that here too. So now I'm double checking online. Okay, now I'm double checking where you're saving it. Save as ship Blender files, Saber class fighter. There is no folder called that. What the hell is going on? You are literally saving this nowhere. Huh. Okay. Oh, I think I know what happened. All of this is because there's a backup folder somewhere out there. Oh well. It's now in the right place, so I was about to get all ready to get mad at Microsoft, but it turns out it's actually me. Irritatingly. All right, we are trying to make the knee joint. which is reversed, the reversed knee joint. Which at the moment is a little bit more complicated than it looks. So, edit mode. I'm going to take this guy and move him over to here, just temporarily, so I can find a good spot. I need to figure out how big / wide I need to make this piece for this part of the vehicle. Right here is the connector hip, if you will, for the legs. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make that work. So we're going to take this piece right here. We're just gonna, I've been using it to fit stuff for a while. So we know we need to go to like here-ish, right? Here-ish. I'm gonna just try to figure out roughly how big a space we're dealing with here in 3D space. Right, so this is where this leg comes into the body. Now, because everybody is effectively a 14-year-old, I really want to make sure that at no point do I make these round, because everybody's a freaking 14-year-old, and it won't end well, right? So right at the moment, this hip joint is further back than even the spacecraft is capable of holding at this point. So I'll figure something else out here. I think this is one of those, I'm not 100% sure this thing's doing what it's supposed to be doing. We'll figure it out here. All right. So, kind of looking at this space that needs to be dealt with here. What if it was hinged? Right? I mean, because it could be if we hinged it. Say right here. Right in this part right there, right? We could theoretically hinge it. Right? Because like there's only one half of this setup, but if we had it on a swing hinge, which is not to confuse the stone hinge, that's a different kind of hinge. Right? Let me put it like right here where it's swinging. Put it in object mode. Swing forward like so. Put it down. Call this a hip. So now it's set this way. So this can now pivot this way with the leg and go forward. But when it's forward like that, where does it sit? Good heavens, why would you do that? We need to do bones here in a minute. Okay, so let's hip takes upper leg first. And that made a weird parenting. Things that I don't understand why it did that, but it did that. So there's the thing. Because we're not there yet. So it's got this little area here which tells me exactly where it needs to be lined up on. So I know where to be lined up. Isn't that nice of me? That was so smart. I'm so smart. I'm a smart person. SMRT, smart. All right. Now we need the vector pod to stick to the lower L, and we'll do that by moving. Okay, everything is now connected to the hip, right? Upper and lower is the hip. All right. So if I take the hip now and swing it will swing the whole leg assembly. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, good. Now, rotate the hip forward. It won't be bad. Okay, we'll take this. Completely out of whack for no reason whatsoever. Well, we'll fix it at some point. Pull it out just enough I can get to this guy. Okay, now I think I know what I want to do with this hip, and how I'm going to make this hip work. All right, so up here in this upper assembly here, we're going to have the pivot point, the tank turret piece. So first thing we'll do is go into object mode and then add a mesh. We're going to call it a cylinder. We're going to take it like so. We're going to go to the side like this. Put this in this mode. The tank turret then sits in the center point of the spacecraft underneath it like this. This is a pivot unit. Why me? Why do I do these things to myself? All right. This is the beginning of the hip piece. Or if you will, the tank piece. Right? Tank piece. Yeah, tanks. You're welcome. All right, so the tank piece, then the turret hooks onto, no, that's a different part. Tink, tink, tunk. Well, it is. It's sort of like a turret on the bottom, because when it should be standing on its legs, but then the aircraft should be able to pivot so that you can turn the weapon systems towards things. So it has a tank turret-esque thing here, which makes some sense. And hi there, Sarge. George, of course, also says hi. Because he's George. Man, I'm down to like one frame over here. A bit. Yeah. I don't even know if you guys can even see enough resolution to see George. There we go. George's eyes. I have recently cleaned up the entire zone that's right here. So now George can get up here like he's used to do back in the old days. He couldn't do that before because there was so much stuff there, he couldn't do it without knocking off and falling over and all this stuff. Yes, he Sarge says hi. Okay, but this is all the scritches because I got work to do. You know that, right? You really don't care because you're a cat. Okay, Barry, back to work. There we go. All right. So now that I know, for example, I know that Brent intends to somewhere along the line print this out as a kit. Knowing that, I'm going to try to make this actually do its transformation mode in 3D so that when we get to the point we've got to deal with that, it all fits. Everything fits together. So for the moment, I'm going to take the hip piece out. We're just going to work on this tank structure on the bottom here. But at some point, there's going to be a model draft. So I'm going to make sure to try to get as many pieces to work so that all you have to do is put it on a printer and print it. And then you can paint it and put it together and assemble it. And the only pieces you'd really have to work on are things like you'd have to do something about the flaps and things like that. So this is the beginning of the hips. The hip bone connected to the hip bone. Wait, what? Dang it. Everything got connected to itself. I'm going to go into object mode, add mesh, another cylinder. But this cylinder, I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. All right. All right, I'm going to bring this up to here, maybe? There's a piece connected to this. Is going to have to go in partially. I don't know, partially go in here. Issues. So I'm just going to take this and just do this. Legitimately, it doesn't need, I mean, it really should be like that, but there. We're going to Boolean union it like that. And now what we should have is a piece that looks just like this here, which is exactly what we're looking for. So this hip piece with a pivot in the center. A lot of mechanics involved here. We're going to bring that leg back. And look back again where we want it to be when it's here. It doesn't need to be that far back though. It can be up to there, I think. It's a matter of whether this intake scoop gets caught up in the hull. So that there. That looks like the other intake scoop's caught up in the wing. It's space age. The operational clearance doesn't have to be that far. However, man, that hard point now is really close to that leg. I'm not sure whether that's going to be good for us or not. The question really is this thing aligned correctly? It may not be. I feel like it's tilted off axis, if only just a little bit. There we go. I think that's more what I'm looking for here. It's all those engines in the same zone, the same alignment. Okay. I feel like our safer bet for this is to have this leg joint here inside this part of the leg. So the upper leg joints in right here. Might be a better design. So rather than have this be the hip, I'm going to pull the hip back, or pull the leg back. So I guess you could call this the thigh. Pull it forward to here, and then just have it adapt in at this point. And just make sure it's not colliding with the landing gear. Then have this piece kind of hedge around and make sort of an S curve here. Which might be the way we want to do these things. Another thing, I can get a lot tighter on this if I just bring this missile pod down. I mean, the missile pod's not going to be very useful anyway, and I'm really worried about this hard point. The hard point's really, really close to that leg, so I'm wondering if maybe I can bring it down just a hair. So this is going to be that hip piece. Might as well make it sturdy. So I'll make it go all the way up to the top. Use up as much of that space as I can. And these guys really just kind of go back to here-ish. On the same token, these two need to kind of come out and over. They don't need to be, they can be we want this hip piece to be strong, so no real reason for it to be smaller than that. Oh no. Same as before. But this is the other side of it. The other side of this hinge. And what we're going to do with this is put it in object mode and put it over here and go gunk like so. I'll take edit mode, take these three, pull them this way, take these three, pull them this way, take all of this and pull it down to about like so-ish, give or take. There. And we'll go back into object mode, double checking to make sure my geometry is correct. Yep, it's inside that hip piece there. So this is the hip joint. When the joint is complete, it'll be a pin through here and a pin through the other side, and that's how you get the hip joint to sit in the tank piece. You get the idea. Now what we have is one unit through this arm. It's not all we're going to do, but for right now, it's a good start. I'm going to take this and delete just the face. Yeah, just the faces on it. Because that way we can take... You know what? We'll just go ahead and do the whole thing. Delete faces, delete faces. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror this. And when I do, like, I'm going to take the mirror and do that. It's going to be like way off center and wonky. Why is it way off center and wonky? I'll finish the build on it first, because that's not working right. You know what I mean? That way, when the leg comes back in, it should sit nice and firmly against this hip joint. Hey there, Jackson. How you doing this evening? Oh, yeah. Get ahead while you can. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I don't think I know what I'm doing anymore. I've just gotten confused. have gotten unconfused now. Which is not an actual like indictment of what I'm doing. That's a heavy sigh because I tend to hold my breath whenever I'm doing these things. And all of a sudden I'm like, I should stop holding my breath. Yep. And I've noticed that a couple of times I've been online with you guys and I'm like, and you guys are like, really? That bad? And I'm like, uh-oh. No. Yeah. Because I'm like, I didn't realize I did that. It's so funny. Okay, this is really screwed up. No, it's not really screwed up. Yeah, see, it won't mirror properly, which is a problem. And I looked it up online, and it did align it to the inside, left, right, up, down piece of the Argentinian. I don't know. It comes up with these weird things. I'm like, ugh. Because something's wrong with the orientation of this particular object. But I can't see it because it looks like it's perfectly aligned as far as I can tell. But it's not, because otherwise the mirror would work. But because the mirror does it offset like that, so that's clearly. Okay. What did you say to do again? Step 1 of 12. Jeez. All right. Select the object and zero out the rotations. Did that work? Maybe. Nope. Now it's even worse. Good job, me. I don't even know which one of these is accurate. Jeez. There. Now, what else was the steps? I'm working on my saber fighter. In the next issue, there are saber fighters, which they're actually for search and rescue, but they're still a fighter. It's just that they won't have missiles. Scanning equipment and stuff like that mounted on the hard points. But I'm trying also to make it so that the pieces work correctly, because Brent has been threatening to print my ships, And so it'd be really nice if they actually were printable instead of, oh, well, we could print these, but we'd have to first redesign the entire thing. So I'm trying to make it so all the parts actually fit together. And that's what I'm working on at this point. So that's kind of where we're at. In theory, you know. Hey there, Roblox. Normal Roblox player. So that's the theory that we're working on here. The problem is this particular piece needs to be aligned properly, and it's not because it needs to be mirrored like this. But this is the way it's mirroring, and I know it's because this widget is offset. But if you look at the widget, it's telling me that it's going the right direction. So I'm not sure how to fix it because I can't get the widget to do something. I can't get this widget. It says that it's completely well aligned. So being aligned doesn't help me. So I'm trying to figure out how to change the widget's alignment, or at least find out how to get to the alignment. It's because it's a set origin. The problem is the instructions say select it and you'll get a bunch of information right here. And I'm not getting that information, which means somewhere I have just deselected it somehow. Maybe it's in layout mode. Not sure. But either way, this is where we are so far in this piece. We've got one of the legs is in and correctly put. And I'm noticing, like I said before, I'm noticing this hard point on the wing is really close to that leg. Should be fine, I guess. If so I'm not done cutting into the leg, so I can't duplicate it and flip it, so we can't see where it shows up on the other side. And I'm trying to fix this hip joint. So we'll go into here and we'll go and say, all right, maybe it's options, transforms, that's not it. Select the object. It's in a different viewport over here that he's showing. Nope. There we go. Something moved when I changed its box alignment, because now it's crooked, like I suspect it should be. Yeah. There we go. Okay, good. Now we've done that. Go into edit mode and select the bottom edges. This is presuming the bottom edges are aligned properly too. This says a whole lot. Actually, those bottom edges look like they are pretty much aligned, so. Okay. Fill in the bottom. No, I'm good, thanks. Okay, so you don't actually want me to do edges. You want me to do this, which is fine. I think the original object he had was different. It didn't work like I wanted it to. That's fine. I mean, this is taking long enough. I'm almost tempted to just build a new object right next to it that is the same object. Because that'd just be faster at this point in time. This is taking way too long for me to... all of this is way too much stuff. I'm not messing with that. That's way too much. All right. We're just going to build a new one. I got a thing. Why are you off like that? That's weird. It's already going wonky on me. Don't go wonky on me. I don't want you to go wonky on me. It's like the curse of the weird little object. Even things that are just getting close to touching it are wonky and strange. The parts are cursed. No. Okay. Now I needed to add another piece right through here and didn't in the last one. Part of the other reason I'm redoing it from scratch is because I really needed to make this 2 units instead of 1 out to here. So that would have been very useful. And I didn't. And now I'm like, well, that would have been helpful. Yeah, why is it weird like that? That's so strange. Like selecting these guys and they're at an angle. Not sure what that's all about, but okay. Maybe I should check before. Check to see if okay. See, it mirrors fine, so okay, good. Like before we go any further, let's check to see if it's going to go wonk on me and make me go, why? Extra frustrating that I spent the entire evening on just this one piece. It's like, okay, but it didn't have to be this hard. And ultimately, I gave up and just rebuilt it from scratch. Because I was just like, I don't even know. I don't know how to fix this problem. It's just so weird. No. All right. We've almost got this guy back under control. All right. Pieces back together. Now we just need to go through and select. Then, finally, I did it right. That's all I needed you to do is that. I need to add the ball joint, though, for the hip. But now at least I know what the hip looks like. Oh, that's good. I'm not terribly worried. Now we can mirror this. That's a big chunk of metal, isn't it? I mean, I guess it's got to be pretty sturdy and stout because it's got to hold all of those pieces together, but still, it's a big chunk of metal. Yep, just in time for me to finish this piece, and 5 minutes remain. Here we go. All right. Let's put this in the undercarriage and make sure that it all fits. And it's almost like I designed it this way. Locked in on the, yep, right there. And then we can fold that out if we need to. And you wouldn't even see it once the spacecraft is sitting on the ground. It's not going to be easy to see that joint anyway. It have to be made of unobtainium to make it work. All right, next things next. Since we have a couple of minutes left, and I'm still kind of jazzed by this a little bit. Bring this in so that it's right up against that piece. The intake still clears that doesn't clear the wing, but I feel like that's something I can fix. So let's go ahead and put that in edit mode. There we go. Just enough so that light can clear that side. You won't notice it generally. I'm just looking through here, making sure that everything lines up nice under here before I start assembling out this other leg piece. And that ball joint isn't close to the engine exhaust. That's an important point there. Make sure that ball joint does not, in fact, run itself inside the engine exhaust. That'd be bad. So the exhaust point of the engine is okay, and that'll clear. The engine isn't very big. There are 4 of them, with 2 being space boosters and 2 being air breathers. In Bellatrix Rising, they don't necessarily breathe airs per se. They just they use whatever fuel they can find, which might be air or it might not. You never know. All right, this. I don't know if I want it to switchblade like that. So, first of all, I think this is offset incorrectly. There we go. Just adjusting that. Second of all, we're going to make this kind of go more like so. And I want it to be more forward. So I pull it all the way out to the outer edge of the leg. So that when it's completely out and about, it will, when it's all folded up, it'll be all nice and pretty up against the hull of the switchblade hull here, or not the switchblade hull, but the hip joint. So for the moment, we're going to push all the way through to maybe to here. The more structure we have around the joint, the better that it'll withstand all of the pounding that it's going to get. It's a military craft, so you have to assume that once it gets into a combat situation of some sort, it's going to start really, the hip joint especially is going to start taking a pounding. This is a big, strong piece of where this huge fighter craft is just going to sit on here. So there's a whole lot of meowing there. Is this you saying it's bedtime? Are you saying it's bedtime? I feel like this is you saying it's bedtime. I feel like this is you saying it's bedtime. It's bedtime. So all of this work I've been doing, Jackson, I've been doing all this work to digitize all of my stuff. It means that I have cleaned this spot right here off, which now means that George can now jump up onto here and then walk over here like he used to do back in the day. So now George is here a lot. George is here a lot. We need more George. We definitely need more George. George and miso. These are important parts of our lives. These are important parts of our lives. I mean, that said, you are a weird cat, though. You know that, right? And cognizant and aware. I don't think anybody needs to see your butt. No. You're making you're making sauce for a miso cam. That's awesome. Yep, I've also noticed that our music has decided to die now. I think everything is finally starting to kind of be one of those, hey, it's time for us to settle in. I got George here. George is trying to get me to go to bed. Music stopped. Yeah, you're a weirdo. But you're my weirdo. Weirdo. Oof. Urf. 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 You gonna lick me? Yeah, you're gonna lick me. You're weird. You know that, right? I mean, I appreciate it. I will always appreciate kisses, but I do think it's a little strange. And you smell like cat food. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and head on out. George has tilted my monitors. So I will see you all tomorrow morning. Yeah, tomorrow morning. I think I'm clear tomorrow morning. I believe I'm clear tomorrow morning. I should be clear tomorrow morning. Yep. I'm working tomorrow afternoon, but not tomorrow morning. So, also, I'll be the last to say it's Dr. Carl Sagan's birthday. So, happy birthday, Dr. Sagan. He would have been 89 today, I believe. So, either way, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.